a dynamic business, this podcast is for you. This podcast is for women who strive to achieve guaranteed results in their career and personal life, but get overwhelmed by the demands of their role and often get sidetracked and shift their focus. So, if you're working in a busy, dynamic environment, overwhelm and stress often become part of your role and you get very familiar with them. And every time how you deal with those factors, with the overwhelm and stress, um, it really helps you to achieve your results or sets you back. So, in this podcast, I will give you the mistakes people make, most common mistakes women make when fixing the overwhelm and stress, and how to overcome those mistakes and basically to avoid them. Many of my clients are career focused women, individuals who lead demanding roles in the dynamic businesses. In our roles, we get through periods of time when circumstances outside of our control dictate new patterns for us and create changes in our journeys so that we get simply overwhelmed or stressed. In periods of high stress, we tend to lose track of our own agenda, of our own priorities, at least until the situation resolves itself. So, whether you are a team leader or you're trying to build your career and climb up the career ladder, or perhaps you even run your own business, the way you deal with stress and overwhelm is very important. And this podcast will help you to avoid series of mistakes that people make trying to fix the situation, and in reality they get themselves deeper down into the stress and overwhelm. For those of you who joined the first time, my name is Angela Cox. I am leadership coach for women who want to be sought after leaders, to become powerful leaders that people drawn to and lead powerfully in their career and personal life. So, stress and overwhelm. Talking to many women in my network and to my clients who strive for career growth and work in dynamic busy businesses and companies, I hear that overwhelm and stress tampers with their journeys often. Two factors, stress and overwhelm, they lead us to place in all our attention to deal with that particular situation, whatever is in the front of us, instead of focusing on our own agenda, obviously, because our own stuff being pushed aside, and often dealing with stress and overwhelm comes at the cost of our own well-being. So the biggest problem women talk about when they get consumed by the workflow, the deadlines, is that their own priorities get neglected. So what are the mistakes women make that you can avoid right now, making those mistakes and deal with stress or overwhelm in a completely different way? People who come across high pressure, high tension situation in the work often tend to work even harder, tend to work more in order to resolve that kind of clogged up workflow or approaching deadline or end the project or something like this. So we work even longer hours. This is a mistake number one. We often neglect our own boundaries and prioritize this particular stressful situation, obviously, so we can finish it quicker. So our own boundaries get pushed aside as well. When the pressure of deadlines is growing, we may tend to micromanage. So we lose trust in people. We get the high tension actually affects how we view the situation in the world. So we tend to micromanage. As a result of micromanagement, the team morale goes down, and our own vision gets very, very foggy because we're naturally focused on something that is right in the front of us, which is the project, the deadline, the workflow, the KPI, the financial end of year, beginning of the year. So we are dealing with the current situation and we're focused only on that issue. We push aside our own well-being. Our own well-being is not a priority anymore. This is a mistake, number 5. And what also happens, what intended to be another step in our career. So let's just say this project, if you finish it on time, deadlines, and so on, if you show you're capable leader, if you show you're working well with your team, you obviously get step up to step up in your career. So what initially intended as a step up can quickly become a slope down. So because we are focused on doing more rather than being more. So as a result of those actions, we grow doubtful. We grow doubtful in our own abilities, even to abilities to run this business, to fulfill this role, to manage this team. And those doubts contribute greatly in our leadership style. So when we want to achieve a specific goal, part of achieving this goal successfully is our vision and our focus. And we tend to lose all those things when we deal with the situation that is stressful and high tension and so on. So when our energy, all energy is directed to deal with overwhelm and stress, we lose track of our vision and we lose track of many things that contribute into good, solid leadership. If this sounds like you can instantly to make a couple of steps that will change the perspective for you and change how you view stress and overwhelm and how you deal with it. So to avoid those mistakes that I just called and to start dealing with stress and overwhelm in a different way. How do we do that? So step number 1, we basically do the opposite to our mistakes, but in this process, you need to clarify the steps so it's easier for you to follow and to execute them. Step number 1 is revisit your boundaries. Boundaries are crucial when you work under high stress and pressure because they allow you to have order of things. Okay. Then they allow you also, boundaries allow you to be real and honest with yourself, even before you being real and honest with your team and so on. Step number 2, say no to multitasking. When we are focused on finishing the project to get as much done as possible in one day, in 1 hour, in whatever period of time, we naturally tend to multitask. Multitasking gets us scattered, gets us out of focus, gets us irritable, and basically instead of having multiple things done in a short period of time, nothing gets done. Micromanagement comes to place, and that as a knock-on effect, it actually leads to quite underwhelming results for the team overall. Step number 3, seek support. It's very, very important that you begin to delegate, you begin to grow as a leader yourself, so your team mirrors your actions and automatically works well as a well-oiled machine, even without you interfering so much with the team. So your own leadership style and your own leadership actually dictates the outcome of the project, or outcome of how you're going to deal with this stressful or overwhelmed situation, and how you're going to come out on the other end. And it will also improve communication, relationships with the team, and the results overall. There are few more steps involved in this process. And if you are interested in learning about this process and exiting the overwhelm and stress pattern for good, because when you learn this process, you will never look at stress and overwhelm the same. You will just treat it as another day in the office, and everything will be structured, and results will be exactly as you want them to be. Then DM me, reset, and we'll schedule a conversation and discuss how I can help you to do just that, to end the pattern of stress and overwhelm, and become sought after influential leader that people naturally follow. So I would love to hear from you, and until next time, bye.